And here we are the morning after. We ran our 2007 Freestyle at Mercer Raceway. First time I ran in a derby at a raceway. Not too bad, not too different, not a kind of clearly established pit. I prefer the pit over the kind of racetrack, but it wasn't, it wasn't really a big deal. But yeah, the car did kind of what I thought, but actually a little better. So the whole time, as you can see, I'm gonna feel like I got a couple good hits. Couple guys got a couple good hits on me. Bigger car, in particular in the sides on both sides, got some bigger hits. But the engine and transmission are they were the wild card. I said I didn't really know how well it would work. It ran, but then sometimes when I'd start it, the transmission would barely grab. So pretty much every hit, the car would stall when I'd try to change gears. So I probably restarted this car 30 times during the derby, and that's impressive that it kept restarting. And there were 30 cars that went into the pit at the Mercer Raceway, and we ended up 5th, just missing the top 3. But the car was still running. I couldn't get it into gear, and then it stalled, and I didn't get it to restart before I timed out. About 10 minutes later, once the derby was done, it restarted, and I was able to get out, but I snapped the tie rod. Right here, you can't tell, it's tight against trailer, but snapped the tie rod right where the outer tie rod connects to the wheel. Pretty early, guy got into me. It was pretty high traffic out there, and that made it tough to steer. I was still grabbing gears, but again, every time I get it in gear, hit someone, whenever I go to put it in drive, the car would stall out. So then I'd have to start it again, drive, go like over to the side of the pit, put it in reverse, the car would stall out. So I just kept restarting it. Little unfortunate because it was a raceway, and it was actually where the straightaway came down, and then like there's an infield, so it was a little bit of kind of a dip to where one side was higher than the other. Early on, a guy didn't even hit me hard, but we got face to face, and he got into me. It went completely over my bumper, which even though it's the rebar, it's still like he didn't hit me hard enough. It wouldn't have maybe even touched the radiator. He went over the bumper straight into this. Bent in my radiator, didn't completely bust it, but it leaked, and then started steaming. Just to kind of show underneath here. Still can hold it up there. So you can see pressing back a little later on, another guy got into me again over the bumper because of the kind of difference in the terrain. But pressed back too, I don't even think it got to the starter. No, the starter's back there. You can't quite see the red right there. And I didn't mention this in my video, but this was the power steering, which was running in front here with like a foil thing to keep it cool. I just took it through and got this line here to just connect it, and that worked good. Car ran, it stayed cool. Again, the thermostat gutted, and the coolant temperature sensor, get my camera to focus here, really worked great. The engine overheating wasn't a problem at all, and you can see, the fuse box didn't get touched, didn't really get hit in the side there. Losing the tie rod early definitely made it tough to steer, but like I said, just the whole, and you can see here I took another shot and actually bent the axle there. The whole derby, I just put it in gear, go hit somebody, change gears, car would stall. Restart it, put it in gear, go hit somebody, car would stall. So it's actually impressive that out of 30 cars, they went 30 cars in the windshield class, stock windshield class feature at once. It's actually impressive that it ran and restarted that many times for that long. Probably 20 to 25 minutes total. There were like 3 red flags. One took a little bit of a while. So yeah, it still started after. It pretty much ran the same. I could get it in gear, move it some, and then it'd stall. I actually drove out of the pit with my left wheel with the tie rod snapped like this and my right one kind of in, and I was able to drive out and get off the arena, and then I just left it sit there until I loaded, and I had to get a Bobcat I got the trailer lined up directly behind it, and I got a Bobcat to push me on, and that worked. So it was fun. Stinks that we just, and the 4th place guy and myself pretty much timed out at the same time, but I'd probably say he hit somebody last because I had lost, or I hit somebody and stalled couldn't get it into gear, and I think he had one more hit than me, but either way, just missed the trophy. You know, our goal, my son and I, with each car, we say, yeah, we want to get a trophy, so stinks a little bit, but it was fun. And again, got a good ride. You can see though, it's a shame how much body this thing has. Again, a stock tank, I left it in there. Again, it's inside the wheel. You can see took a couple hits here. That's why I in particular wanted to have the cage running across. I can't bring the cage back anymore, they don't let you. But just to kind of make this a little stiffer. But yeah, I really don't think that was an issue at all. I mean, I prefer to have the tank right beside me, but that really didn't seem to be an issue at all. So I mean, I think I might very well do that again. Battery setup, I had this run over, and then I took a second rat strap and almost crossed it to make an X, and I just taped that really good so that if, you know, I got hit and jarred and the negative terminal touched there, it would be touching the tape, not the actual metal. Something else I think I'm going to do moving forward, I'm going to leave the negative terminal just tight enough that it's on good, and if I would really get wrapped, it might come loose, but that way, if I need to completely kill the battery and put it back on, because I was thinking, you know, I don't know if it would help, but maybe if I had, whenever I couldn't get it to grab a gear and then it stalled out and I couldn't get it to restart before I went there, I'm like, well, maybe if I, you know, completely took the battery off the terminal and then put charge back to it, because this car, that actually happened in the driveway to where I couldn't get it to start, took the battery terminal off, just the negative, put it back on, the car started. So car kind of a bizarre animal, but yeah, still runs pretty much like it did. Again, you can see the core support here got pushed, the top of it back to it, but we're not going to try to get her going, especially with the tie rod busted. We're going to scrap her, take what we can off her, scrap her, and move on. But good ride. Again, 5th out of 30, which is pretty impressive, I guess, when you just leave it like that, and especially with this old girl kind of limping in there with the transmission engine. So good time to recycle her.